Good morning, everybody. It's early. You can see, like my hair. Anyway, this ain't about me, so I didn't put on makeup and, a nice outfit. I just was studying the Word again this morning, and I felt like this is a message that needs to be conveyed to people. So, and right now. When you see the fact that, I think the Supreme Court ruling about gay marriage was just a sign, and now they've unveiled a 1-ton statue of Satan in Detroit, and John Kerry and Mr. Obama have put together a treaty that actually puts us fighting on the side of Iran. If you can't see that the prophecies of John Paul Jackson and David Wilkerson are what's about to happen, and not the prophecies of the happy prophets that want to tell you there's going to be a wonderful time to be a Christian, if you can't see what's coming, may God have mercy on you. So anyway, along those lines, a lot of people see what's coming but don't have the resources to prepare. And actually, I don't know anybody that's got all the resources to completely prepare for what's coming. And so that leaves gaps in your preparations. And I call those faith gaps. I really felt like I needed to do this video because I got into an argument with a guy on Facebook the other day. He thinks he can just sit on his hands and say Jesus, 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 and God's going to provide for him. And yet the Bible is filled with examples of people who did what they could do, and then God met their faith. I mean, if you look at both the examples of where there was a large crowd, and when Jesus fed the 4,000 and he fed the 5,000, it's in Mark 6 and 7, and Matthew 14 and 15. I'll look real quick while I'm talking. Anyway, if you look at both those examples where he fed thousands of people, he had something to start with. Now, I'm not saying that God needs something to start with. He doesn't. I mean, he made everything from nothing. But in working with us and dealing with us and our faith, he needs us to take a step. He needs us to take a step towards him. So if all you can do is go down to the grocery store on the bean aisle and pick up, $21 bags of beans and 5 $1 bags of rice, do it. Do something. Because God will multiply that, especially if you have the attitude that you are going to help other people. Because just stockpiling to save yourself and, it's pointless. Yeah, it is. It's Matthew 14 and 15. So, in both those examples, again, somebody had some loaves and fishes. I mean, somebody was at least slightly prepared, and Jesus was able to multiply that. If you look at some of the battles Joshua fought, there was, I think it's Joshua 9. Bear with me again. There's a battle where, the children of Israel have got their swords. They are pursuing the enemy, but then God kills the entire enemy with hailstones. But did Joshua sit on his hands in his tent with all the warriors of Israel and just go, okay, God's going to take care of this? No, they strapped on their swords and started pursuing the enemy. Yeah, it's right here in Joshua 10, verse 11. As they fled from before Israel, while they were at the descent of Beth Horon, the Lord threw large stones from heaven on them as far as Azekah, and they died. There were more that died from the hailstones than those whom the sons of Israel killed with the sword. Think about when God gave the command to Joshua to cross into the promised land. And the Jordan River was at flood stage. I mean, it spread out for miles, and they had to cross it. Did God just stop the water? No. He made the priest walk into the water. In other words, they had to wade out there and then trust that God was going to show up. And he did. Then he stopped the water. These principles are repeated. Like I gave you the example of Jesus with the feeding the 4,000 and feeding the 5,000. Somebody had something to start with. God is sovereign. God can do whatever he wants. He's in charge of all. But there's that free will component of God's sovereignty. He wants us to participate in what he's doing. If you think that you can just stand on faith alone without any works whatsoever, you haven't read the book of James. Maybe you don't even know it exists. Faith without works is dead. I'll show you my faith by my works. Is any of this ringing a bell? So I just wanted to encourage you in two ways. One, put some works with your faith, okay? Two, even if you don't have the resources, even if you only have an extra $10 a week left out of your paycheck, buy some Band-Aids. Buy an extra container of bleach. Pick up some rice and beans. But before you do anything, pray. Just pray and ask God, where do you want me to be when all this goes down? What do you want me to be doing ahead of it? Because God is about preparation. A lot of unbelievers say that Christians have a blind faith. I would submit to you that this is why it looks like it. Because when you sit there and you don't prepare in the face of overwhelming evidence that something bad's about to go down, you have blind faith. But when you put works with that faith, God will multiply whatever you do, as long as it's done for the purpose of bringing glory to the Father and his Son. So, the person I was talking to the other day on Facebook actually believes it's a sin or it's against faith to prepare. Like it's not trusting in God. I just don't see how you can get that out of the scriptures. I'll bring up one more thing. A lot of people, including me, have weapons. Jesus in Luke 22:36 said, look, when I sent you guys out before, I told you don't take a money bag, don't take an extra tunic, don't take hardly anything with you. Just go and trust in faith. But then he said, now I'm going to be leaving, and I'm telling you, take a money bag. And he who does not have a sword should sell his coat and buy one. There's a balance of preparation and faith. We prepare, and then we trust God. The Proverbs say the horse is prepared for battle, but the victory is the Lord's. In all that is about to happen, especially for those of you who have really prepared, if your faith is in your preparations, you will fail. Allow God to meet the gaps in your preps. Step forward in faith. And be willing to lay down your life to save somebody else. The time is short. I love you all. I hope this has helped and encouraged some of you.